everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ahana and here we talk about all things related to stationery, planners, productivity, organization and in general trying to live your best life. And if that interests you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So a few weeks back I got a few pocket notebooks and I have that video of the review linked here, so please check it out. I've been thinking of how many ways I can use these tiny notebooks in. I mean, you can't really be taking a lot of notes and making big flowcharts and stuff like that in these small notebooks, but they are also really useful and really versatile. And I was thinking, if any of you out there have received any sort of notebooks of this size, a lot of times these are something that are given to us at events or maybe from your work, and now that places have opened up, maybe you have accumulated a few of these notebooks and you're looking for ideas. So I thought, since I was brainstorming for myself, maybe I should share it with all of you as well. So if you have not seen that video, let me just give you a quick introduction. I have these kind of notebooks and about 20 of them, which is the Navneet Yuva small pocket notebook, which is rupees 10 and it has 112 pages and it is more or less like really thin GSM. Actually, it can decently hold a ballpoint ink pen, so that's what I've been using across the board. This is a small notepad. I also have a sketchbook and I have another pocket notebook, and this is like a meal planner notebook which I got with one of my actual yearly planners. So this is there and that's about it. So these are the kind of notebooks that I have, and I was thinking of how to use them properly, and I hate wasting things, so I really wanted to give everything its own purpose. While the process of brainstorming happened, I thought, hey, maybe I should have a notebook for brain dump. And I don't know why it never struck me, but right now that I'm using proper planners, which are dated, I don't really have a place to brain dump, and a small notebook like this is really handy. I mean, you don't even have to allocate any section to it. You don't have to limit yourself for the pages, because I have so many of these and I can just freely write on whatever is on my mind, and I can even, put each of them for a different purpose. So one can be related to maybe meal planning ideas or recipes, and maybe one can be related to like workout ideas, one can be related to things I want to buy and stuff like that. So like, even if you're thinking of a different list, you can put each of them in a separate notebook. And because these notebooks are really small, you won't even feel like they're piling on or if you're wasting pages or anything like that. I think it's really convenient to have a brain dump notebook. Moving on, the second kind of notebook you can have is kind of like an extension of this brain dump notebook, which I like to call a distraction notebook. So when I was studying for my boards in 11-12, I used to get distracted really easily, and I saw it on some video where they said that whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're getting distracted about, just write it down on a piece of paper and put it aside. So when you're done with your study session, you can come back to it. It's not like something, oh, I had this amazing idea, I'm going to forget it, so let me just work on it right now. That's not going to happen. When I was in school, I used to think about, oh my god, what is going to happen in this movie or this TV show, or is Meredith going to die this time, or are they going to kill off other random characters again? So normal high school things. So I thought about these things a lot and they occupied a lot of my brain. I would worry a lot about my grades and stuff. So just like those thoughts, when they were coming up during my study session, I just kept pondering on them, and then I found this tip and I started writing them out in a separate piece of paper, and that really helped me get that out of my mind and then come back and focus on my work. So that is another really helpful way of using a small notebook, which is your distraction notebook, because in case you have great ideas, you don't want to write it down on a loose sheet of paper and then lose track of it, right? It's good if it's in a notebook, you can always come back to it. So that reassurance is also there. The third kind of book you can have is called the commonplace notebook, and I mentioned what exactly it is like in the types of journals video, and I will link that video here. It basically is a notebook where you can write down anything. It is also kind of like a brain dump notebook, but it's not really a private notebook. So in that sense, I would probably have a commonplace notebook for my family. It would probably be outside in the living room, and it can be for anything. So if we need any kind of items, maybe my mom can make a note of that. If we need to call my driver for a different day than he normally comes, then maybe we can write that in, and things like that, like a running note sort of a thing for the family. So it's for everyone, and it's usually outside in the living room. That's what I do with my commonplace notebook. Then I have this art journal. So again, this is a tiny notebook, but it's also a specific sketchbook, and it is by Menora in the A6 size, and it is very handy, and I can easily take it on like a trip or just throw it in my bag if I'm going out. Sometimes I like to do some sketching if I'm just sitting by myself in a cafe alone, so I just take my pencils and this notepad, and it's really handy. So I have made these sketches, and you don't even have to think too much about it. It's just really easy to draw in it. And if you are getting stuck, if you're like in sort of an artistic rut, then getting started on a small piece of paper can do wonders. You don't even have to think about filling a huge sheet of paper. You just have to get started, draw a few lines, put in a few colors, and you don't even need a finished art piece, but it's just really nice in reducing the resistance and getting you started. So I like having these small sketchbook. When I am thinking of like a larger piece, I also like to do parts of that piece as like rough sketches here, so that I can finally, you know, have an idea when I'm putting it together what it would look like. So that is why I love having like a small art journal. So that's another idea. And another idea I got, which is not this cheerful but really efficient, I feel, and I got this idea when I fell sick because of the pandemic in the beginning of the year. You can basically monitor all of the temperatures and your oxygen saturation levels and stuff that you are doing, but also other health updates, you know. Maybe have a small notebook where you note down every time you eat something and it causes a reaction. Then maybe it will help you identify your food intolerances or at least sensitivities. And maybe if you get a headache after you exercise, maybe that's something to note down. So if you put those things down, that the days that you are not feeling well and the reason why you think, and if it repeats, if you see a pattern, then it will help you understand your body better, help you help your doctors understand your condition better and things like that. So medically, if you note down your symptoms and the way certain foods make you feel, and you know, if you are suffering from an illness, just how your symptoms are changing over the weeks and months, I think that's something that will really be beneficial for your doctor, definitely, because then they get a more detailed account and not just what you remember, and also for you to see your journey towards recovery and something like that. So I think that might be an interesting thing for some of us. So another idea is to use these small notebooks as journals. So if you're getting started with journaling, filling a blank huge empty page can be very intimidating, and if you're just getting started, filling one small page of these is not going to take any time at all, and they'll be done in a few months. And if you feel like writing more, obviously you can write more, but I think this is a lot less intimidating and very, very easy to get started on. So yeah, for journaling also you might use these small notebooks, and they're really good. Next thing is recipe books. Now none of us are actually, you know, hoarding around our mothers or grandmothers' recipe books. We are moving houses and cities so frequently that we don't really have the capacity to take these things around, and mostly we're just looking up things online. Even when we want to cook, if we cook at all, we're just like almost always ordering. But I think if you have like a small notebook where you can just write down some of the key family recipes, then obviously it's not a burden to lug around. It just fits very easily in any bag that you want it to, and it does not even feel like it's a lot of, you know, luggage that you're carrying around, or it's a lot of material or whatever. It just feels like really small part of your family history that it's there with you. And it's not usually most family recipes, or what, even like some of the recipes that you want to cook regularly, they're not that complicated, and any small notebook would fit all of the things that you wanted, and it's really easy to carry around then from place to place. And also it's very easy to keep in the kitchen and like look at while you're reading, as opposed to a huge cookbook where, and it's most likely, and I've seen it from like personal experience, I got very excited when we got a microwave, and I got this huge cookbook for the microwave, and it's stained because it's that big in the kitchen. If I'm putting it, then it's going to have like gravy and stuff all over it. So yeah, that's another useful thing, that if you put it in a small notebook, you can just like put it on a shelf or something, and just like it will not get in your way, and it most certainly not get dirty. So that's another plus. Try it and let me know. Another interesting thing you can do with small notebooks is learning a new language. During his Oscar acceptance speech for Parasite, the director Bong Joon-ho had said, "Once you overcome the 1-inch tall barrier of subtitles, you will be introduced to many more amazing films." And I think that's a beautiful idea. And I know my sister is really interested in everything Korean, and she's an avid follower of all K-pop, K-drama, everything. And I think a lot of their stories are really interesting, and a lot more interesting than a lot of the stuff that I watch in the languages I understand. And a lot of now the OTT platforms are actually coming up with very interesting content in many other foreign languages as well. And I know a lot of my friends who have been persuaded by these shows to learn new languages like Spanish, French, Korean, and things like that. So I think that's super interesting. If you have a small notebook for all of the vocabulary words, and even as you're watching a show, if you note down some of the words that strike you as unfamiliar and then you go look them up, it's like a really handy, nice vocabulary notebook for you when you are learning a new language. And it's like your own personal dictionary of that the foreign language to English or whatever language you're comfortable in. It's like your own personal translation book, and it's a really handy way of, you know, navigating that language. And even if you decide to go on a trip in that country or something, this is something you can easily carry in your bag or in your back pocket, and you can refer to it quickly. So I think that would be a great tool to have. Another way I would like to use these tiny notebooks is basically to have grocery lists. So if a notebook like this is just in my pocket or in my bag, I would write down whatever I remember that I have to take, or maybe once a week I would make it a routine of checking my pantry and my fridge and seeing all the things that I need, and then write it down in this notebook and throw it in my bag. And that way I'll always have a running list of things that I need for the house or anything else that I need to buy, and it will always be in my bag. And if I'm out running errands, or if I'm just like out and in a mall and have some time, then I can just buy the stuff that I need. So that would be super useful, just to have a notebook for like grocery lists and stuff like that. And finally, this basically I got this idea from this notebook, which I got with the Tiny Change planner. And so this is a meal planner, and you basically have Monday through Sunday here, and breakfast, lunch, snacks, dinner for the whole week. And this, while the space is little less, I think you can definitely use a small notebook to do your meal planning. And again, it ties in with the previous point of having this grocery shopping. So once you know everything that is there in your house, it's obviously way easier to meal plan and prepare for the coming week. And I've seen many people get really frustrated trying to explain to the cook that they have to make XYZ things. So if you just take one day a week for like an hour or something, just figure out what you want to have for the rest of the week, and then do your grocery shopping and everything, and kind of all ties together, and you have exactly what you need, and you also know what you want to eat, so you don't end up wasting anything, and you don't end up eating out, and you still end up eating healthy, and just like good things all around. So yeah, these were the things that came to my mind that I would love to use my tiny notebooks for. And please let me know in the comments down below what you are already using pocket notebooks for, or if you took back some ideas from this video, please let me know that as well. Yeah, and if you want me to make any more videos related to any stationery or productivity, organization, anything, let me know that in the comments as well. I will definitely take your suggestion. I will see you next week. Bye.